Hey guys, it's Mr. Walker here. I'm in front of the smart board today because I'm hoping it's going to make me a little bit smarter, because this lesson that we have coming up today is, man, it's a doozy. A lot of complicated stuff going on. It's double digit multiplication, guys. Double digit, that's like, I can't even think. Just kidding. This is going to be super easy. We're gonna take a look at some strategies today to do some double digit multiplication that's going to make it super easy to do. And I don't need a smart board. I'm like as smart as it gets, man. This thing's not going to help me at all. Anyway, we're going to take a look at some double-digit multiplication today. We're going to kind of break it down and look at it as far as place value is concerned, and use some different strategies that I promise is going to make it very, very easy to understand. So you don't need much today, just something to write on, something to write with. You can kind of follow along with me. If you have a place value chart or something like that, that might help if you want to grab that out, but you don't have to. So once you have those things gathered up, go ahead and click pause, get those things. Once you have them gathered up, come on back and we'll get this lesson going, all right? All right, so we're going to start out here with this math problem of 40 times 22. 40 times 22. Now, we're going to use some of the things we know about multiplication to make this a little bit easier on ourselves. We know with multiplication, first of all, some strategies that we've learned is that we can kind of like break numbers apart or break numbers down to make them a little bit easier to multiply with. And we've also learned that we can use the different properties of multiplication to even group some things around and move some things around if we need to. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to think about this problem in two different ways. Okay, and I'm going to draw two place value charts to kind of help me out here. We're going to hundreds, tens, ones. I guess I drew one box too many, but that's okay. Over here I'll do a very similar. And again, I'll have my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. Okay. All right, so knowing what we know about division, one thing that I know I could do is I could take some of these numbers and break them apart a little bit. So I'm going to take this 40 here, and I'm going to think of it as a 4 times 10, right? 4 times 10 times 22. And the reason that I have these two different strategies going here is that I'm going to group that 4 times 10 times 22 in some different ways to make it a little bit easier for me to understand. And we know about the commutative and the associative properties of multiplication is I can switch some things around to make it a little bit easier if I need to. For example, I could think of this as 4 times 10 times 22. Okay? So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to use my place value chart to help me out. All right. Grab a different color here, and I'm going to put some dots in here to represent my number 22. I'm basically starting over here. So I would have 2 ones and 2 tens. All right. So I've represented my number 22 here, and if I want to do that 22 times 10, well, these guys are going to move over here. These guys are going to move over here, right? Because each jump on my place value chart, that's 10 times more, right? 10 times more. So now that I've done that part, 22 times 10, now I just have to multiply that by 4. So I'm going to do 1 times 2 times 3 and times 4. Times 2 times 3 and times 4. So my answer to this problem would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 800. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 80. 880. I don't have any ones anymore because everything moved over to my tens and my hundreds. So my answer would be 880. Okay? Cool. So that's kind of grouping it that way. However, if I wanted to rearrange things even more, right, I could still think of it as 4 times 10 times 22, but this time I'm going to rearrange some of these numbers a little bit, and instead I'm going to, let's see if it'll let me do that. I'm going to take my 4 and my multiplication, and instead I'm going to do 22 times 4 and then multiply that by 10. And we should still get the same answer. So let's try this out. Again, I'm going to represent 22 on my place value chart. I could represent 4 and do it 22 times, but that would get kind of messy. It would take a lot of work. So Let me represent my 22 as 2 ones, 2 10s, and then this time, instead of multiplying it by 10 first, I'm going to multiply it by 4 first. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to multiply it by 10. I did this part. I did my 22 4 times. Now we're going to multiply it by 10. So they're all going to move one spot over, which again would give me 880. 880. Okay? So whether we're breaking down that 40 into a 10 and a 4, and whether you multiply by 10 first or you multiply by 10 second, either way you're still going to get to the same answer. Okay? Let's take a look at one more example just to make sure that this is all feeling kind of hunky-dory. All right, so this time we have 50 times 31. 50 times 31. And again, since we're multiplying by a multiple of 10, I'm going to kind of break that 50 up into a, well, not a 50, that really doesn't break anything up, into a 5 and a 10. So a 5 and a 10. So I can think of these problems two different ways here. 5 times 10 times 31. Okay, so I can do, again, my 10 times 31 first and then multiply that by 5. Or if I come over here, I could do 10 times 31 times 5. So I could do my 31 times 5 first and then multiply it by 10. Again, we know with those properties of multiplication, it makes it easy for us to kind of rearrange things and put things the way we want to and what makes the most sense to us. Okay? So I'm going to do this guy first, and I'm going to represent my 31 on my place value chart, and then I'm going to multiply it by 10. So for 31, I would have 3 10s, 1 1, okay? And then we're going to multiply that by 10, which means that these guys are going to move up in the place value chart here. So I just went ahead and moved them over here. So my 3 10s became 300s, my 1 1 became 110. Now I have to multiply it by 5. So I have times 1 already, so this would be times 2, 3, 4, and the one down here times 5. So I have those 300s, I have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I gotta do the same thing with my 1s, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Now if I take a look though, there's something else going on here that I need to keep in mind, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 hundreds. I have 15 hundreds, so that means that I'm going to have to group some of these hundreds together. And I know that 10 hundreds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 hundreds would be 1,000, so I don't even have my place value chart big enough, but I would have 1,000, let me just write 1 T over here, 1,000. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, so I would have 1,000, 500s, 5 10s, 0 1s. 1,550 will be the answer to this one, okay? So again, I drew my 31, multiplied it by 10, got that answer, and then multiplied that by 5. That was the one strategy over here. Over here, we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're just regrouping our numbers in a different way. So we would have that 31, so 3 10s, 1 1. We are going to multiply them by 5 first. So there's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. 5 times there. All right, and then if I take these guys now, let's see if it'll let me do it. Oh, let me do most of them. And I multiply them by 10. That means they're all going to shift over, right? Multiplying by 10, moving one spot on the place value chart. And then, just like last time, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 10 of them are going to be regrouped into 1,000, which I don't have represented, but that would mean I would have 1,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 500s, 5 10s, 0 1s, okay? So hopefully this is starting to make sense. Hopefully this is starting to come together for you guys so you're getting a pretty good understanding. So we can multiply multiple digit numbers. We can multiply two two-digit numbers together. It's pretty exciting, right? Especially when we're having one that is a multiple of 10. We can break it apart into the 10 and whatever the other whole number would be, and then we can rearrange it as we need to using the properties of multiplication to help us do that. Hopefully this makes sense. You guys are going to try it a little bit on your own. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you soon.